What is my trust's legal name? So we get a lot of calls from people, right? What is my name? What is the name of my trust? How do I list it on the paperwork? So always remember, your trust does have its own legal name, and that legal name has to have a reference to who the trustees are, right? Who holds the assets on behalf of the trust. We also have the name of the trust, just maybe some short version. But the date of the trust is also very important and is part of the legal name of the trust. The date cannot be left off. The recommended format I put up here, we've got John Sample and Mary Sample, trustees, or their successors in interest of the Sample Living Trust dated March 13th, 2021, right? So it might also include something like, and any amendments thereto. We usually use that language at the end of ours. Sample Living Trust dated March 13th, 2021 is what we would call the convenience name. It's just a short format of the name. When you go into the bank, they might only have a certain number of characters that they can put in the system. They can use that. But again, they're still going to reflect who the trustees are at some point. And that's, you want to make sure the name says it. When you're doing title to real property, however, you do want to make sure it has that full legal name there. One other note, I actually don't have anything in the slides about this, but if you restate your trust, so I think of a restatement as a super amendment. It is a wholesale update to the trust document, right? The name and the date of the trust, right? That is the wrapper. That's the outside. All of the meat, all the good stuff is right inside. That's the language of the trust. A restatement keeps the same wrapper, keeps the same name and the same date as the original. And all of the language on the inside gets updated. That's very important because if you go through this process of funding, you don't want to have to go through it again. And if you update your trust later, which you should at some point, but if you update your trust later and change the date, the banks, the financial institutions, they're going to think that there are two trusts out there. And it's, that there are multiple things they got to search for. And then your successors are going to have a really difficult time because they're looking for a document that doesn't exist. That's really important. If you do find, as you're going through and reviewing your assets and the titles or the beneficiary designations, that your trust has been referred to in various ways over the years, maybe it was a different date that was reflected, or maybe there's a slight difference in the way that the trust is named. Instead of saying Sample Living Trust, maybe it says Sample Family Trust or Sample Revocable Living Trust. And at some point, one of those words got tweaked or changed. It's important to sign some sort of an affidavit. We call it a one and the same affidavit that says, this is the same trust. It's one document, it's been known by different names, but it's the same thing. If you don't sign an affidavit, you can also include in perhaps a restatement of your trust, kind of a preamble, if you will, an introductory section that talks about what are the various names that the trust has been known by, and again, that it's all one and not actually multiple trusts hanging out there. So just a little tip there.